Night low near 25 degrees.
This is the Roundup on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Going from the Tularosa Basin and beyond, this is your local connection to the world of sports. From high school to college and to the pros, we cover the latest news and the biggest stories. Don't forget, this is your show. Change the topic anytime. Call us at 437-1230. The Roundup starts right now. ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome into the Roundup. Hope everybody's having a very good Tuesday. 437-1230 if you'd like to call into the show today. We are online today, by the way. YouTube.com/ESPN Alamogordo. Couldn't stream yesterday, but we're back up today. Just daily hiccup there. And we'll obviously be online every day that we can possibly. And you can always check out old versions of the Roundup if you want to listen to those on the YouTube channel. We've also got our Athlete of the Week interviews and a ton of other stuff that I think I'm just realizing I needed to post our last week Athlete of the Week interview. My apologies. For some reason, I think I'd forgotten to post that, so I will make that happen. Whoops. Anyway. Nothing really to mention locally. I do want to. I was misinformed about the Alamogordo swim team. I hadn't received a new schedule, and it just for some reason it worked out that way. And they, at least according to their schedule, have already taken part in a couple of meets. Let me see if I've got an email back. So, the schedule real quick. They were in Las Cruces this last weekend, and hopefully I'll get some results from Coach Mata and let y'all know what exactly happened in those particular meets. They also had one that was listed for, I was a little confused. They had one listed for November 1st in El Paso, but I didn't think they were allowed to start practice until the 5th. So that was one that, in looking at the schedule, I was kind of confused on that one, but I'll figure it out. They do have a meet that's scheduled for the 15th in El Paso, Socorro Independent School District invite. So that's coming up this Thursday, and then they've got a couple of meets in December, meets in January. Really, the schedule doesn't look a whole lot different than last year's schedule, but the team had already gotten into one meet, and I was the schedule they had online showed that they didn't start until December, so there's just a little bit of confusion. More on my part than anything else. Let's be completely fair. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk with the swim team here in the coming weeks and see how their season has started and more coming up for y'all here on the Roundup. So we'll get you all up to speed, I promise, what's going on with the Alamogordo swim team. And did find out that their practice schedule stuff, there's no issues there. They've been using the Family Rec Center as long as they can keep that open and keep it warm enough for the kids. The same goes for the New Mexico School for the Blind and Visually Impaired and Holloman Air Force Base. So they've been rotating among those three spots, which is great. It was a shame when they decided not to try to reinflate the bubble over at the rec center, but clearly that was a safety issue. Clearly that was a money issue to try and build a permanent structure, and I know certainly a tough one for the swim team, but also understandable. And I don't know if it's – I'm amazed at these schools that are able to have natatoriums like in Carlsbad, Hobbs. I'm fairly certain Artesia has one, but I don't know that one for sure. I know Carlsbad and Hobbs do. Cruces, they use the one at New Mexico State University. For the most part, it seems like the Albuquerque schools, you've got West Mesa, you've got Academy has their own. I mean, not a shocker that one of the private schools does. West Mesa is kind of interesting that they've got one themselves, but it's I think for people that want to do swim and dive, if you're not in one of the bigger cities, it's kind of challenging to have a program. And for Alamo, in terms of being competitive as a team at a team championship, it's not necessarily something they can do because they don't really have a dive team. If they wanted to dive at the meter levels they need to, I think you have to go all the way out to White Sands Missile Range. So it's much more challenging than a lot of the other sports. I mean, every other sport you've got a facility, and it's also a facility that isn't nearly as difficult to be able to use for a lot of their sports. So swim is always, I think, going to be that challenging sport that's going to be difficult until it would be really cool if they built an indoor swimming facility here in Alamogordo at some point down the line. I think that would be a fun thing to see, or if they can raise the money or find the money to do it over at the Family Rec Center. Because I'm sure there'd be people that would love to be able to swim indoors in the winter around here. Wouldn't be that bad of a thing to look at, but I'm certainly not going to be the guy that, they should do it. They can find the money. I'm not going to be that guy. It would be cool if they could, for the Alamogordo swim team, and I'm sure for the community it would be a pretty cool deal if they could make that happen. But anyway, I've pontificated long enough on that. As for other local stuff, actual games happening, we don't have anything until Thursday with volleyball. Mescalero and Tularosa begin pool play in Class 2A, Class 3A, respectively. We've got football on Friday night. Tularosa in Albuquerque taking on number 1 Hope Christian in the Class 3A quarterfinals. Other than that, basketball starts in less than a week. I know the boys basketball team has got their black and gold Madness night coming up on the 23rd, day after Thanksgiving. That'll be on a Friday night, so it'll be the alumni game and some other fun stuff. I'm looking forward to being a part of that, and it'll kind of be a kickoff to the season. They've got scrimmages the next day, and so a lot of fun stuff coming up across the board for high school sports. And of course, high school basketball practice starts for the remainder teams. For Tularosa, for Cloudcroft, Mescalero, all of them are starting practice next week. And first games, it looks like Mescalero starts on the 30th, which is a Friday. Alamogordo boys basketball starts on the 1st. Alamo girls, I think, starts on the 27th of November. I think they play that Tuesday game, which I think is one of the first days that you can actually play an official game across the state. The Tularosa boys and girls, I think, start the week after that. Tule goes to the West Las Vegas tournament, the boys, to begin their season, and the girls, I was just looking at their schedule this morning, December 1st host Loving to begin their season. Tule girls also play Alamogordo this year in girls basketball. Go to the Santa Rosa tournament. They have their host tournament coming up in January. The Tularosa boys are going to have the Johnny May Classic as well. So that's kind of a fun deal. And did see that Alamogordo boys basketball is going to do a JV tournament, which is added to their schedule this year too. So that's kind of a fun thing to see some of the JV teams come into the area. Would be cool if we could see the VFW get fired up again, the holiday basketball tournament. And it was always the VFW. I know it probably was different sponsors over the years, but I don't know if we'll ever see that Alamo Holiday Tournament reappear. Kind of a shame, but I also know that was a big undertaking for everybody that had to run that thing, and it was a lot of that landed on the coaches, and none of it really has anything to do with the coaches that are currently in place. Even the last few coaches, it just we saw that tournament not maybe have the teams that it usually had, and I think there's been a few other schools that have started up tournaments, and it just the competition to bring schools in is forever the challenge of being able to put one of those on. And I think Alma going to Los Lunas isn't a bad tournament. I do wish they would do it at Los Lunas High School every time, and it's nothing against Valencia other than you're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and getting out of there is just a pain. Nothing you guys have to worry about. I just, as somebody who's a traveler, last year was, that was a pain in the rear end driving through I guess that's the South Valley area and stuff. Just very pretty. We'll say that, very pretty. All right. But yeah, getting ready for some of those. The Cloudcroft schedules I don't think are completely. I think I saw the boys' schedule is almost all the way up on Max Preps. They haven't put the PDF files up on their school site. Tularosa has theirs available. We'll post them up to our Facebook page. But if you want to go to Tularosa Municipal Schools site and go to athletics, you can download the Tularosa boys and girls basketball schedules whenever you feel like it. It's also, I think most of it's up on Max Preps as well. But you can check that stuff out in a few different places. And so we're really only about 2 weeks away from high school basketball getting going. Wrestling is here in the next few weeks for Alamogordo. They're practicing at Alamogordo High School now, which I know that was a big deal for Coach Spencer to want to get them over at AHS. It was trying to find the different. I think they practice at the old Sacramento Elementary their first year. Then they were at the Academy del Sol last year. I don't know if it was for the entire season, but at the beginning they were. And then finally got it moved to Alamogordo High School. So I know that's exciting for that group to have it where it is, and I'm excited to see where the program is in its third year. I think it'll be fun to watch and see where that group has gone. So, and anything else coming up the next couple weeks? I don't know if I'm missing anything, but excited to see what happens in the volleyball tournament later this week. Excited to see what Thule can do against Hope Christian, and then get ready for basketball and all the winter sports. Spirit teams across the area starting their competition schedule. I know they're excited about that. Getting, it's still a few months down the road, and it's a lot of practice. I'm impressed with that because there's not, you're not getting ready for a game at the end of the week or sometime during the week a lot of the time with the Spirit teams. I mean, I think they have maybe 2 or 3 competitions before they do state, and it's just a lot of repetition and working at it, whether it's a dance team or a cheerleading squad or whatever it is. It takes some dedication because all you're doing is just working on the same thing and trying to get it perfect, and it's not quite the same as getting to go out there and play a game and you get a win or a loss at the end of the day. It just, I'm sure there's some that probably like practice and maybe don't enjoy the competition aspect of it. I don't think that's a lot of them, though. I think they love when you talk about basketball teams getting out there to go out and play somebody, it's a nice thing to be able to do that. All right. Something just broke across that Le'Veon Bell is out for the rest of the season. He's not going to show up to the Steelers, which is probably a good thing for everybody involved. I don't think that it would have been a good thing for that team. And as talented as he is, I would get the feeling that a lot in that Steelers locker room, with as well as James Conner is playing and having won 5 straight, and I mean the Steelers, you could argue as one of the best teams in the AFC, maybe the best team in the AFC. I'm sure the Chiefs would have something to say about that. So would the Chargers and the Patriots, but still something that I think they could say, listen, especially after those first couple weeks, that may be one of my favorite stories of the year, is the way the Steelers have kind of turned around their season. Because what were we talking about after week 2 or 3? There was discord in the locker room, and there were major issues in Pittsburgh, and a 5-game winning streak makes us forget a lot of those kind of things. So I don't think it's a terrible thing for the Steelers that they're not getting Le'Veon Bell back. Offensively, I don't really think it's hurt them that much. And, I don't know how much this is going to hurt the signing aspects of Le'Veon Bell and how much money he's going to get on the market. Because there's somebody that's still going to be willing to pay him a lot of money because they know the kind of talent that he is. Kind of interesting. Somebody found a tweet of his from 2013 talking about somebody willing to sit out a year in their sport. And that's probably a sign of showing that they really don't love it. Now, I don't know what he was referring to in that, whether it was a fellow football player. And I'm trying to think, in 2013, was he still in college? Or just coming into the NFL? Because where would he have been in 2013? I think he was just getting to the Steelers. That would have been his rookie year. So you wonder, I don't know if that was a fellow football player. I'm trying to think back to 2013 and who was holding out for some money at that point. The bigger question mark is, and I'm still a little confused on what the process is going forward. My understanding was that with the franchise tag, if he didn't play a game this season because of holding out, that it carried over to the next season, or that's the Steelers' choice. Or possibly the Steelers are just going to try to find a way to deal him in the offseason and get something for him. Which is a smart deal. I'm still confused on what he's on the line for. But I would assume if they really wanted to be petty, they could franchise tag him again. I don't think they're going to do that, though. I'm sure they've got somebody else in that team they'd probably rather use that with. I still think the franchise tag is such an interesting tool that NFL teams have the chance to use. So this is kind of an interesting story. I guess there's issues with the field at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, and that the Chiefs and the Rams players are strongly considering not playing in next Monday's game in Mexico City. This is according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. It's not fair to risk our health, a prominent player told Schefter. There are significant discussions about whether the game will be played in Mexico City, moved to Los Angeles, or postponed, and that a decision is expected in the coming days. Grounds crews were attempting to repair the surface inside Estadio Azteca amid what sources describe as significant concerns about a poor playing surface in Mexico City. It's amazing to me that stadium would have, you'd figure with now I don't know how many soccer matches are played there on a regular basis, or if there is essentially a home team that plays there on a regular basis. The issue is that soccer games and concerts, have left the field a mess. So I guess that's what it is. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy told Schefter on Monday night that the league is working closely with the stadium personnel to ensure to have an NFL quality surface. I mean, honest question. Is there that big of a difference between an NFL quality surface and a soccer match quality surface? You would think that it would be in good enough shape, but one source still expects the game will be played in Mexico City, but another source he thinks moving the game to Los Angeles is still an option. The Rams left for Colorado Springs on Monday to train at high altitude for a week before traveling to Mexico City, where the elevation is about 7,300 feet. I still think it's a shame that the Rams fans or fans here in the United States don't get to see this game live, but I understand what the NFL's doing. I know that there is a strong fan base of NFL fans in Mexico. I have no problem with them playing a regular season game down there. I don't know. I wonder how much teams are reimbursed for losing a gate of not having a home game. I mean, because this would be a Rams home game. how much they get reimbursed for that. I would assume they do. Or do they get a portion of the gate of what happens there in Mexico City? I mean, I wonder what the business deal is and all of that. I wonder. I'm not sure a lot of other people wonder. I'm sure there's a lot of Rams fans and Chiefs fans, for that matter, in the L.A. area that are like, man, we would have wanted to see this. Then again, the folks in the Los Angeles area may not be worrying about much other than the fires right now, so the NFL may not be a very big concern of what's going on there. But for those on the outside, I mean, we were talking about this game, or at least I was talking about this game 4 or 5 weeks ago of, Rams-Chiefs, that looks good. One of the more intriguing Monday night games we've had in a while, too. Monday Night Football, I mean, last night's a perfect example. A 1-win team versus a 2-win team, it actually wasn't that bad of a game. I mean, when I flipped in and out, it could have been much worse, and the ratings apparently weren't that bad either, so go figure on that. A little discord in the Golden State Warriors locker room. I do think there's a question to be asked of how long the egos of that Warriors team can coexist. I feel like we've seen that with a lot of great teams, that there is a challenge of keeping everybody happy and, more importantly, them just being able to coexist. I think for a lot of teams, it's challenging. There was an angry late-game exchange between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green that carried into the Warriors' locker room. This is after they lost to the Clippers in overtime, 121-106. There was decision-making in the final play of regulation. A lot of people felt like Green should have passed the ball to KD, and no one had to be separated. No player left his seat, and no hint of physicality loomed in the setting, according to a source. And, of course, a lot of people are wondering if Kevin Durant is out of there after this season. The organization is taking seriously the fallout of Monday night's confrontation, spending Tuesday workouts or working through the same issues that may have been created. Teammates argued with Green over his choice in the final moments to keep the ball instead of passing Durant for a try at a game-winning shot. Meanwhile, Green was forceful in defending himself, which helped to escalate the volume in the room. So, I mean, that's, we always wondered, when Durant went up there and we thought, okay, who's going to be upset about not getting the ball as much? And we're thinking Steph. We're thinking Clay. Maybe Draymond. Draymond always comes off as kind of the perfect team player. He's willing to do whatever it takes out there. But I think Draymond probably has one of the bigger egos on that team. Maybe the biggest. Sean Livingston downplayed the heated exchange. Just team spirit. Team spirit. Guys wanted a different outcome than what happened. Dre had the turnover. Guys might have thought that they were open or wanted the basketball, didn't get it. This is probably not that big of a deal. But, again, I think it's a question mark with the Warriors on, can this continue long-term in Golden State? Can the guys there keep it together in the want of winning a championship? It's also game 14 of the Golden State Warriors season, so probably silly to get that worked up. Now, if that kind of stuff is happening in the postseason, maybe a bigger story. But I don't know. It's funny when people are like, oh, Durant's going to go to the Knicks, and it's like, why? I mean, unless we're seeing a new trend in the NBA, the LeBron trend, going to a team that clearly doesn't have, the big stars on it, but maybe the want of being able to turn around a franchise. Because I do think that's part of why LeBron went to L.A. I think he's an L.A. guy to begin with. Certainly he has his home roots back in Ohio, but seemed like that's probably where he's based more than anything else and after his career. And maybe you're going to see more big stars think about not joining a team with good players, but kind of forging out on their own in some cases. I don't know. This next offseason, it'll be really interesting to see what guys like Kawhi do and Jimmy Butler. And that's something we didn't even talk about yesterday. We were mainly talking about local stuff yesterday, but Jimmy Butler getting traded to the 76ers, a huge deal over the weekend, and makes the East more intriguing. We thought the East would be a little boring without without LeBron, but with Boston and Toronto and Philly, I would like to throw Indiana into that mix, but that's probably because I'm a fan. Milwaukee, of course, with Antetokounmpo. There's some intrigue there out east. I mean, if you want to say Blake Griffin with Detroit, that's probably pushing it a little bit. But you look at the top three teams right now with the Sixers, Bucks, and Raptors, and you add Jimmy Butler into that mix with Philly, and that's a pretty cool deal. That's exciting. And out west, you still have Golden State. Houston's getting off the schneid a little bit. They're playing better. The Thunder are playing significantly better. They've won 8 of 10, so they're after a rough start for them. They're playing better. Clippers are actually solid this year. And then you got the Blazers and the Nuggets. Do either one of those teams we believe in? So I know a lot of folks are focused on football right now, but I still think the NBA they got such a great product right now in terms of players and intrigue, and there's people talked about everybody wants to be friends in the NBA these days, that there's no competition, but I disagree. There's legitimate saltiness between a lot of players in the NBA, and I think it more has to do with respect that they feel is due in a lot of cases. I mean, it's interesting to me how guys view themselves or feel like they should be viewed in the NBA, and that seems to be a bigger point of contention. Durant, and feeling like he doesn't get enough respect for the kind of player that he is. I think Jimmy Butler's probably in that mix. I don't know about Kawhi. Kawhi is a different story, and what exactly is going on with him. He doesn't really tell anybody, so how would we even know? I think anybody has any idea. But we'll see. Oh, and by the way, after there was a press conference where Sean McDermott said, I still have faith in Nathan Peterman, they got him last night. I don't understand. I'm glad they did. To know that there is no way that Nathan Peterman could start or play in another game for the Buffalo Bills is really a nice feeling. I feel bad for that guy in a lot of ways, but I also think I would love to understand, not to be mean-spirited, but just to understand why Sean McDermott seems to have faith in him. The way some coaches think in the NFL and the faith that they show in certain guys, at some point, how is there not enough of a sample size of the way that person has played in games to show you otherwise? Or was it just Matt Barkley coming in and having a really good game and realizing, hey, somebody with a modicum of talent? And I don't think anybody's ever sat there and said, oh, Matt Barkley, yeah, top-end NFL quarterback. Nobody said that. And yet, he was able to come in and run that offense and do a pretty good job. And for somebody that's been with that team for, 3 seasons, he couldn't do that. Incredible. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back if you want to call in. 437-1230. More of the roundup for you after this.
Stop by White Sands Motorsports right here in Alamogordo for all your power sport needs. White Sands Motorsports carries Honda, Yamaha, and Roxor. New to the store, Can-Am and Textron side-by-side vehicles. As always, they handle parts and services for all makes and models. For the best power sport deals on 2 or 4 wheels, White Sands Motorsports has got you covered. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 9:30 to 5. 21070 Highway 70 or visit motorsportsofnewmexico.com.
With the holidays fast approaching, let Otero Federal Credit Union take the stress out of the holiday season with a personal loan for those extra expenses. Also, take advantage of our holiday loan skip-a-payment program to put a little extra cash in your pocket. Stop by today to see how OFCU can make your holidays a little brighter. OFCU, community people you know. Federally insured by NCUA. OFCU, 3 branches in Otero County. Call 434-8500.
I'm Ed Harrell, founder of the Kindness Revolution. I've got some good news. Kindness is all around us. Our challenge then is simple. Look for it and talk about it. By talking about kindness to our families, friends, co-workers, and on social media, we can raise its awareness. Look for kindness at your local retail establishments, where employees are doing their best to serve you. When you experience that sense of good, let them know. It doesn't hurt to take a minute and let their managers know as well. Look for it at your school, where teachers are doing their best every day. Ditto on letting them and their administrators know as well. They may be more underappreciated as a profession in our communities than anyone else today. Look for it in your first responders. They're ready to sacrifice their safety for your safety and deserve our appreciation. Look for kindness. You'll find it all around you. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
What makes Vision Ford Lincoln Hyundai unique? At Vision Ford, we're all about you, your vision, your style, your needs, and your story. Vision is fully stocked with dozens of the hottest 2018 models, including the Ford F-Series, America's #1 selling truck for 40 years. With financing options that fit every budget and a sales team dedicated to you, Vision Ford Lincoln Hyundai continues the Yes We Can tradition. All we need is you. Visit us today at 1500 South White Sands Boulevard or 24/7 online at visionfordlincoln.com.
Tularosa Basin Telephone Company is famous for keeping you connected. They promise to deliver fast speeds, provide a reliable network, and do it all with a smile. Their customer service team is on top of every call with the answers you need. In fact, they believe their customers are the most important part of their business. Give Tularosa Basin Telephone Company a call at 585-2700 for the internet experience you've been waiting for.
Hey, hon, do me a favor and hold the ladder for me.
I have a better idea. Let's just call somebody to clean the gutters.
To scoop out a few leaves? Come on, I'll be down in a heartbeat.
No!
Using a ladder might seem easy. Misusing one is even easier. For tips on ladder safety, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep your bones safe, strong, and well connected.
Looking for a good pre-owned vehicle? You know the one everyone wants? Late model, low mileage, good condition? Then you need to look at Richardson Motors. Robbie and his staff will get you in a vehicle you want, whether it's a car, truck, SUV, or van. At Richardson Motors, it's about taking care of the customer right the first time. So for the best service, the best vehicles, it's gotta be the best dealership. Richardson Motors. Richardson Motors, 318 South White Sands, next to McDonald's.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better. And kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor. Because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Trying to figure out. There's a college football reporter that's pointing out that the Kansas University Cessna is on its way to Baton Rouge. The rumor, I guess, has been that they're going to try to hire Les Miles. Is Les Miles still living in Baton Rouge? I mean, I don't know. I assume that's where he still lives. I'd heard that he was like getting into stuff in Hollywood and acting and things. Genuinely, I thought I'd came across that somewhere, Maybe I'm imagining it. Totally legitimate possibility and all of that. All right. If you're Les Miles, would you want to go to Kansas? I mean, I'm just curious. I don't know if that would be, if I want to get back into college football. Don't you think he could wait for another job? I don't know. Let's go to the phones. You're on the roundup.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
What's up, Jaime?
Hey, let me lower my radio. I'm getting an echo over everything.
All right.
That means I am on the air. Okay.
Yep. This is true. If you're hearing yourself and you're getting an echo, yes. What's up, man?
Yep. Yeah, right before the break, you were talking about the NFL and everything that's going on in the NFL and stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's just a week past the halfway of the season.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, a couple weeks. I think you got a few teams that are on 10 games right now, but yeah, we're heading to week 11, I think.
There's still, you know what, there still really isn't no great separation in some of the divisions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, some of them are still wide open. And you know, you got to look at the teams that have the good records or are playing good right now. Kansas City, they're looking good. The Steelers, they're the Steelers. You know, you can never count them out. And New England, everybody says, oh, Tennessee beat New England, all this other stuff. But I said, until you knock New England out and they're not in the playoffs, then we'll not worry about it for this year.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's still so much right over. Look at last night. You know, it was a real good ball game. I mean, it was the team with 2 wins or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It was a good ball game to watch. I really enjoyed it because I'm not a great fan of either one because I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see. You know, it was a good game. Actually, there was nothing else on. But
this is very true. I was in the same boat last night. I was like, there's nothing on TV, and I found myself at the game a few times.
And said, should I or shouldn't I? And then I kind of, man, this is pretty good. But yeah, last night just showed that, you know, 2 teams that are almost even part can give you a real good ball game. Real good ball game.
I agree.
But right now, there's nobody really. I mean, in the NFC, the Saints and the Rams are looking good.
Yeah.
But like I tell you, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy how there's not really one team one team in each conference that really stands out besides Kansas City and the Rams. In each conference.
I don't think that you've got, you know, one favorite team, but I think, you know, between the Saints and the Rams, you know, those are probably the 2 favorites in the NFC, and then in the AFC, I think it's Kansas City, and then I think there's probably a step down to San Diego and Pittsburgh and New England at the moment. Who?
San who?
Oh, I'm sorry. L.A. Rams or L.A. Chargers.
You even got it both wrong.
Yeah, I you know what? I don't think I've ever stopped calling them San Diego. It's
just like when the Rams were in St. Louis. Everybody still called them the LA.
You know
Rams.
what? That's been a much easier transition for me, mainly because they've been there, and it just feels like
because your ex-boss was from St. Louis. That's why.
I don't know if that is me having any problem with it. I was gonna say he is in St. Louis now, so yeah, I think it's still pretty wide open, and you know, some of the divisions are separating pretty well. I mean, the NFC West is over. Maybe not the NFC South.
You think so? Well, yeah, I agree with you.
The Seahawks are 4-5. I mean, they would take quite a collapse by the Rams to lose the division.
Chicago doesn't look too bad, but their schedule hasn't really been, how would you call, very strong opponents, except in their own division. And you know, Minnesota sometimes like all the other mediocre teams right now. Sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. So I don't know. You know, look at the Bills. They just blew. I was just kind of like, wow. And was another good one. Or the Titans beating the Patriots. You know, that was after the Titans beat the Cowboys a week before, and they come back and beat the Patriots. Are these guys for real, or are the other teams taking them lightly?
You know, I don't know about Tennessee. I think there's a lot of inconsistency there, but I also think that there's nothing special about Houston or Indy or any of the teams in that division, so they could still win that division very easily. So.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, and I agree with you. You know, those things are still wide open. Anybody could still all of a sudden get on the roll and win their last 6 games that are left.
For most teams, there's a few that still have 7 left. So
yeah, it's they can get in a row and hit 7 in a row, and kind of like, whoa, we'll go with 6-1.
Yeah,
and they might be in there. So it's still wide open for a lot of divisions.
I agree.
And you can never tell, Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers are not spring chickens anymore. So
hey,
and Brady too.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised you haven't wanted to call up and talk about last Friday night's game.
What Friday night's game?
Last Friday night. That 96-69 win down at the Pan Am Center.
Oh, the UTEP. I didn't expect anything out of UTEP. Man, they only have 7 scholarship players.
I know. I'm just messing with
you. It's a new turnover. I'm glad they gave them at least a game in the first half.
They did.
You know what? And I'm glad to see that the fans from Las Cruces have always been pretty good when they play UTEP, and it was a pretty good crowd. They said about 7,000.
Yeah, well, I was impressed that the student section showed up. I'd say
that they hadn't shown up in a while too. UTEP student section is terrible. Nothing compared to back in the early 80s and the 90s when I used to go a lot to watch them. It was a hard ticket to get.
I think there's a lot of, I'm not sure a lot of people want to see the Miners right now, and that's the last few years I think kind of hurt the fan interest in the team, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, if you listen to AM 600 at 4:00 at Sports Talks out of El Paso, I mean I'm glad the game happened on a Friday because nobody called in the next day because they didn't have the show on Saturday. So, but
no, I think your view of it's reasonable.
You have to be patient because it's a new coach, it's a new program. You don't have a lot of big men, and you got 7 scholarship players, and
they were playing a bunch of freshmen the other night, from what I was told too.
Oh yeah, and they're not too bad.
Yeah,
but it's like everything else; it's a growing progress. I said if they go 15-15. I'm happy with that.
It's a very reasonable take by you, Jaime. I'm proud of you.
Well, the heart of me tells me, and my mind tells me, hey, I might go watch them. I don't know yet. I like going on senior night.
Yeah.
To go watch UTEP play, and I don't know if I'll go anytime. I got all the time to do it, but we'll see.
You're a busy man. See. You got a lot going on.
No, I don't.
You're a man about town. You got stuff, man.
No, it's just I hope when I got a better reason now to go because my daughter lives about 10 minutes away from there in Santa Teresa, so going through the back through O'Hara Road, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No, I went to go see the Chihuahuas quite a few times this year because of that. Because they weren't there, so I had my more than usual beverages at the game, so. Because I didn't have to drive back, so it was pretty cool. But no, the Aggies. I said that name. I'll see you later.
All right, later, Jaime. I agree with Jaime. I think I was just giving him a hard time, obviously being an Aggies alum, but UTEP fans hopefully will be patient with Coach Terry and let things settle out over a year or two. I don't think they can expect anything big this season. If they just show some improvement, I think throughout the year and maybe do some solid stuff in Conference USA, then that's fine. But I don't know. Let's see here. What I got for you guys. Jaime was talking about the standings. You're starting to see some separate. There are a couple of divisions that teams aren't really pulling away. The Steelers are starting to feel like a pretty safe bet in the AFC North, mainly because. And look what happened to the Bengals against Saints this weekend. Baltimore, there's a lot of upheaval. The talk is that John Harbaugh won't be back after this season. His contract is due, I think, goes through 2019, and he doesn't have any interest in being a lame duck coach, so everybody may move on. Cleveland's going to be fun to watch, I think, here at the end of the season, but they're playing with an interim coach. The idea that they're going to make a big run and make the postseason is pretty unlikely. AFC South is just a big schmoz. I mean, it's the Texans are playing really well. They've won 6 straight. Are they really that good is a bit of a question mark. I don't know. Same with Tennessee. Indy's playing much better, and Andrew Luck is having a nice season. Hopefully folks are noticing the kind of year that Luck is having. I don't think they have a very good team, but he's already thrown for almost 2,500 yards. He's thrown 26 touchdown passes this year. I mean, he's having an Andrew Luck kind of season. He's definitely thrown a few interceptions this year, but 26-9 isn't too bad up to this point in the season. But I mean, they're thinking he can throw for over 4,400 yards this year, and when they really weren't sure he was going to be back this season. I can't believe this is Luck's 7th season. But he didn't play all of last year and didn't play most of the year before that. Is that right? Let me see. What was his? Didn't play at all in 2017. No, he played 15 games in 2016. Missed half the season in 2015. And then, of course, played his first 3 years where he had very good years. He had his best year in 2014. But yeah, he could get near what he threw in some of those early seasons. I also feel like the talk that Andrew Luck may not really be that good is possibly starting to subside. I mean, we were having that discussion going into the season of is Andrew Luck really any good? Which it was kind of silly. Now, I mean, was he a franchise quarterback and a guy that was going to lead the Colts to a Super Bowl? Because I think that's where the hype was with Luck, was that he was somebody to replace Peyton Manning. And I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. Then again, who is? But I certainly feel like the Colts, if you're a Colts fan, you can feel pretty confident saying, hey, Andrew Luck's our quarterback and will be for years to come. Now, the injury stuff, that will forever be a question mark with him. But certainly seems to be in a pretty good spot at the moment. We'll see how the season ends for Indy. I don't think the AFC West is over. I'm looking forward to seeing Chargers in Kansas City again. Do we get them again before the end of the season? I got it. We have to. Yeah. It's the next to last game of the year. And if you're a Chargers fan, just the idea that you could get it within a tie if KC loses that game against the Rams this weekend, which, by the way, I don't know what. Let me see if they've posted the over-under for that game. I am very intrigued to see what the bettors. So my guess is 74 for the over-under of the Monday night game. 63, you guys. I would take the over for sure on that. I mean, I'm thinking like 42-38 or something like that is going to be the final score of that game. Rams are getting 2.5. And again, neutral site game right now. I bet they'll get things figured out down there at Estadio Azteca. But how is that over-under not bigger? I'm trying to think of what's the biggest over-under that we've seen in the NFL ever for Vegas. I mean, what they'd be willing to throw out there. And for those of you that aren't into that kind of stuff, over-under is how many points total combined between the two teams. So over 63, under 63. I'd be taking the over for sure, but it's one of those that, you get those two high-scoring teams that go against each other, and it all of a sudden ends up being a defensive battle. Because I do think both teams have talent on each side. That the Rams, to me, are confusing because, especially on the defensive line, they've got a lot of talent. And for the Saints exposed them a little bit, and Seattle really was able to move the ball on them a lot. And so, the Chiefs, the big question mark with them has been the defense. And again, I think there's some talent there, but why they haven't been able to secure anything. That those are the two concerns with those two teams heading into the postseason is defense. But I'll tell you right now, in the NFL, I'd rather have a really good offense than a really good defense because of the way that the game is played these days. I think you need to be able to score points. It'd be great to have a fantastic defense, but the way the rules are, it's probably much more difficult to make that work. All right, we're going to take a break. If you want to call in, 437-1230. More of the roundup for you after this.
There are no roadblocks scheduled today on either Highway 70 or 54 South. For the latest roadblock information, call 575-678-1178. Tonight's forecast is calling for clear skies. In Alamogordo, expect an overnight low of 23 degrees. For Cloudcroft and the mountain areas, an overnight low of 14. Tomorrow, we're looking at sunny skies and it warming up a little bit. In Alamogordo tomorrow, high of 52, low of 29. For Cloudcroft tomorrow, high of 39, overnight low near 25 degrees.
If you and your family are looking for a new home, you don't have to look far for a home mortgage. As a community bank, we not only have great rates, we offer you friendly financial service right here in the neighborhood. There are a lot of options in real estate lending. We're here to see that you get a loan you can live with. Talk to us about your home mortgage. We're an equal housing lender. First National Bank, member FDIC. When you grow, we grow.
I grew up in a normal home in a normal town. All of a sudden, everything got crazy. I didn't talk to anybody about the way I was feeling. I started drinking. I just didn't want to deal with what was happening in my life. I knew about AA, but thought I was too young. I found out I was wrong. If you have a problem with your drinking, why don't you give AA a call? Alcoholics Anonymous. It works.
For the local AA hotline, call 430-9502. That's 430-9502.
This is Brandon with Desert Sun. I'm not sure if you all know this, but Desert Sun Auto Group consists of 5 dealerships across the great state of New Mexico. This means we have 5 new car departments with over 500 vehicles to choose from and over 200 quality pre-owned vehicles. Majority of these vehicles, when bought from us, are backed with Desert Sun's lifetime powertrain protection. Stop by either Desert Sun Motors or Desert Sun Toyota today and let us help you find your new ride. See our full inventory at DesertSunMotors.com.
Everybody else wakes up so rested and cheery, while you wake up with back pain and ready to get back into bed again. They make you sick. It takes 30 minutes just to get your back feeling normal. You work hard to make life great. Why is sleep such an issue? It shouldn't be. Sleepwell can help you find your sleep again. From finding a mattress that supports your back to relieving strain by using a power base, Sleepwell will partner with you. Come see us today. Find the rest you need and lose the back pain. When you sleep well, you live well.
The KNMZ Football Roundtable is back for its 31st season. 5 local business people and their best football prognostications every Friday at 11 a.m. on ESPN Alamogordo. Manny Gonzalez from Charles Garland and Harris Agency. Donna Columbus of First National Bank. Brandon Burling from Desert Sun Auto Group. Timothy Brock of Christ Community Church. And Jake Roberts of Caldwell Banker Sudderth Nelson. The KNMZ Football Roundtable, Fridays at 11 a.m. on Southern New Mexico's sports leader, ESPN Alamogordo 103.7.
Every student wants their high school sports apparel, and there's only one place to get it, the Winner's Circle. They carry all the local school letter jackets, whether you're a Tiger, Wildcat, or Bear. While you're there, get your jacket personalized with embroidery, stitching, and have your letters and patches sewn on too. They also carry trophies, plaques, and awards, and service with a smile. It's all at the Winner's Circle, 1201 10th Street in Alamogordo.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Gain practical experience with emerging technology and equipment not found in the civilian world. The Army National Guard can get you started in an array of STEM-related career fields such as information technology, communication systems, special forces engineers, technical engineering, air traffic control, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear science. Get a head start on your career in an exciting new field while earning money to pay for college, all while serving in your own community. Log on to NationalGuard.com or talk to a recruiter in your area to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the New Mexico Army National Guard. Aired by the New Mexico Broadcasters Association and this station.
ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. Welcome back into the show. And just as this idiot said, I'm sure they'll get the field in good condition down in Mexico City. The news is apparently breaking that they will move Monday night's game from Mexico City to the L.A., where they'll play it at the Coliseum on Monday night between the Rams and the Chiefs. So, like I said, I'm kind of happy for the Rams fans there in the area that are going to get a chance to see that game in person. I think it's a top-end NFL game, and so and I will say the overseas games are a different environment than here in the States. I don't think clearly the most popular sport in Mexico, in England, is soccer. It's not, and I don't think it's ever going to be American football. You're going to have fans that want to see it and are interested in it, but that's the same with every sport. Soccer has gained huge ground here in the United States in the last 15, 20 years, but it's still a distant fourth, for sure, fifth probably. I don't know. Soccer people will yell at me for saying that hockey is more popular here in the States, which I can't really make an argument to say that hockey is more popular. I'd probably say they're about on even par, hockey and soccer. I think soccer as a whole is probably more popular because of, you look at how many high school teams across the country are involved in soccer as compared to hockey. Hockey is a little bit more localized, whereas soccer, you could probably find it in every state, in almost every high school across the country, bigger high schools across the country. Guaranteed. Anyway, totally getting off my point. But I do think, I don't have a problem with the NFL doing overseas games. I get it. And every league does it. The problem for the NFL is that there's such a limited amount of regular season games, whereas if the NHL or Major League Baseball or the NBA goes and does a game in Mexico or somewhere in South America or China or Europe or wherever, Africa, that it's one of 82. Whereas we're talking one of 16. So I don't know. It's kind of a tougher argument, I feel like, to make. And I'm sure those teams still miss the income as well. So I don't know. Kind of a surprising deal. You got to wonder maybe with that field condition stuff whether the NFL is going to start thinking about not playing that game in Mexico City anymore. Don't know if that is true or not. So, again, just right before the commercial break. Oh, yeah, they're going to play the game in Mexico City. NFL moves the game to Mexico City. Clearly somebody in me that had no idea of what exactly was going on there. And they're good headlines. Doesn't look like it. What else was it? We were looking at the NFL standings before the break. The Patriots are going to win the East. I don't think there's any question there. I do feel like the Steelers are going to win the North. Who knows with the South? Chiefs are a pretty safe bet in the AFC West, but I'm not ready to count out San Diego yet. Who knows what happens in the NFC East? I feel like the Redskins should win it. The 2-game lead that they have, they should be able to hold on, but the Redskins have outscored their opponents by a point this year. We'll see if the Bears can hold on. They've got a slim lead over the Vikings, and the Packers are looming. The Bears are kind of a weird story because I don't know for sure how good they are, but even you look at their losses, and they lost the Packers, the Patriots, the Dolphins. They should have won the Dolphins game. They should have won the Packers game. And you could maybe argue they should have won the Patriots game. So I know in their wins, they don't have a whole lot of impressive wins. The Bucks, the Cardinals, the Bills, the Jets, the Lions. They still have to play the Packers again. I think they have to play the Vikings twice. So that kind of hurts. They've got the Rams later this season. We'll get a bit more of a feel on how good the Bears are in the back half of the season for sure. So we'll have some more time to talk about it tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your day. Final hour of the Will Cain Show is coming up for you next here on ESPN Alamogordo 103.7. You guys have a great one.
Hey, this is Stugotz. You're listening to ESPN Alamogordo, 103.7 Southern New Mexico sports leader, KNMZ Alamogordo.